There are certain moments when you're exploring the city and you see something that is not of particular interest, nothing extravagant or glamorous, but it's just stunning. Stops you in your tracks. I'm experiencing this right now as we see the beautiful purple and lilac colors of the sky here in the little street corner in Milan, Italy. Benvenuti everyone, we are back in Italia and we're going to walk through the streets of Milan here as it's twilight near Fashion Week, and we're going to make our way through the historic center. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from. Last time I came to Italia, Italy was all the way back in 2021. It was a while back. I haven't been back to Italy in all those years, 3 years. But being back here, it feels like it was yesterday. I just love this country so much for many different reasons. But one of them is just the architecture and the life. Look at this. So we are right now in Milan. We're in kind of in the fashion district area. A lot of the high-end shops are here, also medium-end shops. So a little bit further down we have Dolce & Gabbana, Prada, Ferragamo, and then, ooh, just look at the stunning sunset. Oh my! Some of the most beautiful colors I've seen in the sunset recently. And it is cold in here. So I was expecting hot weather in Italy, but no, it's way colder than it is in New York. In New York, it's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Definitely weather for just the shirt, very light linen shirt, especially because of the humidity. But over here, no, it is cold. It is like 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, we even see more stunning colors this side. Look at that. Wow. Molto bene. Let me know, have you been to Italy before? If so, where? I know I do have Italians watching, like Camilla, who is from Cinque, but let me know if you have visited Italy before. I'm just in awe of the stunning light right now at the lights. Susie says, lucky you, it's cold. It's very cold. I tried to dress for the weather, but I think I needed even more layers. Wow. Susie has been to Italy. Italy, you know, it was started in Turin, the chain of supermarkets slash restaurants that are across the world at this point. Yeah, it's probably the closest thing you could get to authentic modern day Italian culture in many major cities, aside from, of course, the mom and pop restaurants. But of course, it's also very expensive and way more upscale than you encounter in everyday life here in Italy. Almo says it's a pretty hour. Oh, yes, it is. Camilla's taking pictures. Oh, yes. And if you notice, as we're walking around, you'll notice people are really well dressed. This is something very particular about Italy, is the style that pervades almost the entire country. You see people really, really well dressed. Even the small towns and big cities like Milan. It's something that you think is kind of like, oh, but of course people dress well. Maybe in some parts of New York, but not every part of New York. Definitely not every part of America. Not every part of UK. There's not that many countries where people are almost uniformly well dressed, universally well dressed. Here's one of the many arcades you'll see throughout the city. These interior arcades have been in use for like 100+ years at this point, 150 years. This one is a bit more recent, but we'll pass one one of the older ones as we're walking around. And another thing about Milan that's different from other parts of Italy is that you'll actually find casual fast food of all different ethnicities. So it's very easy to eat casually here in Milan, as opposed to other Italian cities, especially in the small towns. In the smaller cities, you probably will need to stop in for a restaurant if you want to eat at night. But here, lots of food options, like any other big city like Paris, London, and New York. Hello Nadir, nice to see you here. Do you know about Udine? Yes, I have videos on Udine. I explored Udine with my friend Maria. What a shame, Mary Jane. Great vlogger, and she showed me her home city of Udine in Friuli, which is another region of Italy that is not as touristic. Most people don't go to that region of Italy, and it was a pleasure going there. Ludo says, watching from a train going home shopping in Antwerp with Christine. Hey, hello to you and Christine. How I miss Belgium. I can't wait to go back to Belgium at some point. Susie says, you had stew here. I had stew in Tuscany. Is a little bit better known for stews. In Milan, I don't remember stew per se. Milan is famous for veal Milanese, which is breaded veal or breaded pork, similar to a veal schnitzel, and it's famous for its risotto, which is made with saffron. And here we're approaching one of the more famous squares in all of Milan. But of course, we have to go to Urban Outfitters. I'm kind of shocked that this exists. Wow. Urban Outfitters has disappeared for most of the US. And of course, we have to try a classic Italian food, Five Guys. Oh, you're watching. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. All right, we encountered our first Italian viewer. That's awesome. All right, shout out to you. Let me know who you are in the comments. Oh, I got mute. Someone was playing obnoxiously loud Brazilian pop music, so I had to mute. But whoever said hello, thank you so much for saying hello in the street. I didn't catch your name, but thank you so much for tuning in. Glad I have a few Italian followers out there. Let's take a detour before we go to Piazza del Duomo. Hey, Ibrahim, nice to see you here. Camila says ossobuco e risotto. That's another famous dish, yes, in Milan. Ossobuco, which I actually haven't had the chance to try yet. Ossobuco. I think I did, but I wasn't too. Yeah, I did once, but I wasn't too impressed. But maybe I gotta give it a second try. Ossobuco's bone marrow. I love the neon sign here in this restaurant. It's like I love this vibe. Wow. Hey, Almo says, I heard they have style police. You know, well, I'm like I believe that I'm well put together in terms of clothing. So I've blended it almost immediately. Like, this is my first day here, and already 3 people have asked me for directions in Italian. So I think I'm blending in just because of my style. But yes, I think if you dress a little bit more casual, a bit more athleisure, you'll stick out as a tourist. Gwen says, fabulous traveling with you. Marie says, Ariel's safe. He has a New York fashion vibe. Yep, which blends into the Milanese or Italian fashion vibe. Floral shirts are also now getting more popular here in Italy. Unlike what was the case maybe 5 years ago when I first came here on live video, and I was like the only dude wearing floral shirts. Susie says, no hoodies. Yes, if you wear a hoodie and you're not a teenager or younger, yeah, you will stick out as a tourist. That's just the name of the game in Italy. Ooh, look. One of the many, many arcades. This one's a bit older and gorgeous. Wow, I love this. Anna, nice to see you here from Honolulu. Susan Scarberry. Hey, Susan, I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well, Susan. Dwayne, welcome. Sonoli says it's great to see you. Sonoli, it's nice to see you here. Bahar says, are you going to eat Italian pizza? I will be eating Italian pizza. People are asking, are you going to feature more Italy? Yes, you'll see more videos of Italy. This won't be the only one. You'll see more videos of Italy. You'll see other countries on this trip. Dwayne says, you're starting a fashion trend. Yeah, I was pretty forward in wearing floral shirts about 10 years ago. I started wearing a little bit longer, actually, 15 years ago. Nah, a little bit less. When I was like 23. So yeah, a little bit longer. So yeah, quite a while back, I was wearing floral shirts, and it wasn't in style. Didn't get into ubiquitous style in Europe and America only until about 4 years ago or so. Again, because there was a point in time where floral shirts, very colorful shirts, were popular, but that was many decades ago in the 90s, and then before then in the late 60s. Destructionist says, Italy again? Yes. Oh yeah, we're getting more Italia. Happy to bring more Italy to all of you. I mean, just look at the fonts, the architecture, the modern stylings, kind of like Art Deco-ish stylings. The lighting, it's just all perfect. The tilings, this is a quintessential Italian style that I really love. Z says, be careful, lots of crime from undocumented immigrants. Z, it is indeed the case in many major cities now in the Western world. There are quite a bit of people here that are undocumented from other countries. And indeed, you do have to practice extra caution. I would recommend anyone who comes to any of these major cities where that is indeed the case, don't walk around in fear. You're generally safe. But of course, always practice street smarts. If someone wants you to sign something, don't sign it. If someone asks you to take out your phone, to show them something on your phone and they want to use your phone, don't do that. Practice basic street smarts, you'll be okay. Don't walk around in fear, because these cities are very safe. Ooh, look at that. We got the Duomo. All right, let's continue walking around. Oh, this is so peaceful. Joe says the Upper West Side looks different. Yeah, the Upper West Side definitely has some influences, similar origin of influences of the architecture. Because the architecture here, as we're seeing it, We got buildings from like mostly the mid to late 1800s and early 1900s. A lot of the architecture here. You maybe have something a little bit older like this. If I'm to speculate, this might be a bit older, early 1800s. But the architecture here is not necessarily that much older than the Upper West Side. So New York that's why Upper West Side has a similar vibe to a Milan in some respects. But there's a big difference. Upper West Side does not have these tiny little pedestrian only blocks where there's like lots of outdoor cafes. That's more of a rarity in New York City, which is a bit of a shame. Something I would love to change. And look at this gorgeous restaurant. Wow. Anthony says if you're looking for a unique cocktail bar, check out Nottingham Forest. Hey Anthony, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Nottingham Forest. That sounds very English. Like super English. But thank you so much for the recommendation. I will check out Nottingham Forest. That's an easy one to remember. Nottingham Forest. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Is it in this area? Let me know. Ooh, Space Dreamers. An interactive exhibition. Museum of Dreamers. Hey, this looks like certain museums I've covered recently. Hint, hint, the Museum of Illusion and Inter I Am. Colleen, nice to see you here. Maurice says it's cleaner than Paris. Yes, yes, I've seen Milan cleaner than Paris, cleaner than London, cleaner than Athens, for sure. Kay says, oh, it's a reference to Robin Hood, Nottingham Forest. Ah, interesting. Dr. Tachi, welcome. And Marie says, Ariel, you should do urbanist street style smart tutorials. Yeah, you know, sometimes it's right. Street smarts can be taught. And it is not obvious to people, especially if you do not grow up in a major city. And even more especially if you did not grow up in a major city that's multicultural. Yes, there's a certain level of street smarts that can be taught. They can learn. So if anyone has any questions on them, I'm happy to answer. But I'll give you a few pointers. Always follow your intuition. If you get bad intuition, if you get bad feeling, you can't explain it, there's no logical reason, follow your intuition. Intuition generally is leading you in the right direction. Number 2 is you don't owe anyone your time. So if anyone stops you, you do not need to stop. You do not owe anyone your time. You do not owe anyone a conversation. You do not owe anyone even help in terms of directions or whatnot. You do not owe anyone anything. Always keep that in mind. It sounds obvious. It's not obvious to everyone because in certain cultures it's considered rude to say no if someone stops you and asks you for directions, for example. But major cities, that is not the norm, and people unfortunately do take advantage in certain circumstances. Number 3, it will benefit you if you do at least something to blend in a little bit, because unfortunately some major cities, the little crime that does take place, like pickpocketing or snatching or scams, happens when you really look like you do not belong in the city. In Italy, that is wearing a huge sports hoodie, a Yankees cap or some baseball cap, some cargo shorts. You know, you will stick out and you will be targeted, unfortunately. It's not, the criminal's not being anything personal. Don't take it personally. It's just the name of the game. So those are 3 tips. But behold, El Duomo, the Milan Cathedral, one of the most beautiful cathedrals in the entire world. Stunning piece of architecture. 100% recommend going inside. I have videos of it inside. You can watch my shorts and my longer videos inside El Duomo. But it's worth coming at night and walking around just for the sheer beauty of this. Hello Kay, hello Christine. Gabriela says welcome back to Milano. Today Ariel's wearing Ferragamo. Yeah, my shirt's not Ferragamo, but it's definitely similar to his style, I would say. He is a fan of flowers, not Ferragamo. Almo says, is this a huge trip or a mini trip? It's a long trip. I'm out for a month. So not mini. I've been doing lots of mini trips this past year. I visited, I think the count I had, it was 14 countries, 15 countries. But no, this time around, I'm sticking around in Europe for a month. I won't tell you where I'm going. You'll see a lot of different places. There'll be a variety. It's my favorite way of live streaming. Macaulay says, Buenasera, buenasera, Macaulay. Nice to see you here. Buenasera. Susie says, I remember your tour of the Ferragamo Museum in Milan. The Ferragamo Museum was in Florence. And yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful museum. I really, really loved visiting that museum. I was blown away. It was awesome that it was easy to film inside. Joe says, you should write a booklet on traveling and being streetwise. Ah, yeah, maybe. I wonder if people would want that. Susie says, sorry, my memory fails. No, no worries. Sometimes these cities blend in. Wow, it's very, very full. This is the beauty of a pedestrian plaza, ladies and gentlemen. Something that does not allow cars. You saw a few cars. Those are the ones doing deliveries and emergency vehicles and police and security. But aside from that, there's not really cars here. They're not allowed. You can't just, if you're a driver, you cannot just drive here on a whim. And that is beautiful because this is what you get. You get life, street life, not a bunch of noisy cars honking at you and people trying to avoid being hit by a car, waiting for the traffic light, crammed into the street corners, waiting to cross. No, instead you have people freely walking out and about, mingling, listening to music, admiring architecture. And that is the beauty of a public plaza that New York should embrace more of. More parts of America should embrace more of. People tend to associate public plazas with crime and dirtiness, but that's not the case, clearly, as we're walking around here in beautiful Milan. This is not a crime-ridden, dirty plaza. It's clean, generally safe, calm, lively, family-friendly. So right here we're gonna see the galleries, but before we go to the galleries, let's check out El Duomo from outside.
Isaac.
There are, but practice street smart, so you'll be okay. But that's the name of the game of any major city. Doesn't mean we should not have public squares. And of course, you see protests sometimes, but that's okay. Flying Squirrel says in Manhattan, these public squares sometimes can be shady. It's because we half-ass them. We don't allow cafes to open up there, so there's no life after a certain hour in many of Manhattan's squares or parks. And it's because they become dead after a certain time. If you allowed cafes and restaurants to open up inside or around, you would see a very different story. If they were to put some proper lighting as well, you would see also a different story. And then definitely if you were to shut off traffic permanently rather than just temporarily, only for a limited time of the day. That's why we half-ass our squares. We don't really go the whole way as many European squares do. Wow, look at that sky. Oh my. Noble says Milan does sure look beautiful at night. It does. Macaulay says this is art. Oh yes. This is the beauty of building extravagant architecture filled with ornamentation, with real craftsmanship. This is the beauty. Because you get people admiring it. It's a work of art. Architecture should not just merely be functional. It should also be art to admire, to enjoy. And we've forgotten that in our modern world, in many of our modern cities. We've forgotten that architecture should be enjoyed, not on an abstract level, making something that is only enjoyable for the few architects that giggle at massive cantilever. No, architecture should be for the people. And here, this is a great example. It's art that everyone can admire. And there's so many details in here that you can really stay here for hours just admiring all the different little details of this beautiful cathedral and the surrounding. Flying Squirrel says, how old is this building? I forgot the year it was built. I did cover the history of it when I came here 2022. If anyone can find the year, please let us know. Susie! Nice to see you here. Susie, yes, you'll be seeing more Italy, for sure. Wow. So yes, the cathedral, you can visit it. Here are opening hours of Duomo and the terraces between 9 and 19, so it's closed pretty late. It closes at 7 p.m. This is great. The museum as well, that's awesome. Here are the prices, between €8 to €16, depending on what you end up getting. There's combo tickets. The biggest one is €25. You can get an elevator all the way to the top. Highly recommend here. I think if you're coming off in September or a shoulder season, I think you'll be okay to just walk in. If you're coming here in July, I would say maybe buy a ticket ahead of time. Wow, look at the moon. April, so much for April M. just told us that the construction of the Duomo began in 1386 and ended in 1965. Marcus says it has a capacity of 60,000 people. Oh, yes. Hello, Nina. Welcome. This is one of my favorite museums. I gotta return to this museum. Museo del Nuovo Centro. No, Museo del Nuovo Centro. Of course, pardon my Italian. And this is the Museum of Modern Art of the 1900s. So, futurism is one of the art forms in here. This is so gorgeous. Marie says, enjoy. Thank you so much, Marie. I appreciate you tuning in. Wow. Look at that. This is like a painting. Oh my. Doing live video here. Don't have a second camera, so take in this view. Hey, Susie says, we're just back from the Scottish Highlands. We had a bit of snow up in Highlands. Oh, wow. In September? Yeah, well, I went to Scotland last October. It was freezing. Look at that. Stunning. This is basically a painting. Marcus says the Alps have a lot of snow as well. Oh, interesting. Some parts up to 2 meters. Oh, fascinating. Wow. I'm in love with this sky. This is one of the most beautiful blue hour skies I've seen. Wow. Nina says, is Milan the wealthiest city? Yes. I'm not sure about current stats, but Milan has traditionally been the more wealthier city, more industrial focused city of Italy. There is a saying that the Milanese say, well, I might be paraphrasing, but something along the lines of, the Milanese work so the Romans could eat. Meaning that it's the Milanese that actually make all the money, so the rest of Italy, like the Romans, can actually enjoy their food and their good quality of life. Marcus says it's unusual in the Netherlands as well. Yeah, I thought it would be warmer. I guess there's a little bit of a cold spell over here. All right, let me go to the galleries, just in case it closes. What's happening here? Well, this is like a celebration. Oh, this is like a Salvadorian celebration. Why? I had no clue that Milan had a significant Salvadorian population. I feel like I'm back in Long Island, because Long Island has also a significant Salvadorian population, especially further out in Suffolk County. So wow, it's fascinating. So I guess Milan is becoming even more diverse than I thought, including Latin Americans coming in. Hello, Lorraine. Welcome. Hello, Paola. Dallas, nice to see you here. Marie says they need more rehearsal. Yeah, timing was a bit off. It wasn't too bad. All right. Here we have the galleries of Milan. One of the most stunning indoor arcades built that I've ever seen. This definitely inspired many galleries that you've seen, like in Naples. You see a few in Rome. You see the galleries in Brussels that I visited. This later inspired, this in essence was the first mall. Well, of course, there was always some version of indoor markets since ancient Roman times, but I would argue that this is the precursor, the direct precursor to the American mall, is the galleries. An indoor covered arcade specifically for a series of shops and restaurants and eateries that would pave the way for the strip mall and then later on the typical mall that you see. Here we have Camparino. This is where Campari was invented. Davide Campari made this unique drink. Had a little bit of an orange liqueur taste to it. Made with a whole host of ingredients and lots of history here. I would recommend coming here to have a nice Negroni. I've done so myself many times. I've had also my nice Aperol Spritz. I haven't filmed here because they're not too friendly with cameras, which is a shame. Very rare in Italy that that's the case. So the Campari Spritz was invented here. And apparently the Campari Spritz was invented because they needed like a lighter drink to enjoy before having a big meal. And seltzer just became all the rage here in Italy. Seltzer comes from the areas around Hungary, Central Europe, then later became very popular in New York, with that population going over to New York, and seltzer made its way here to Italy. Now seltzer is very interesting because it meant you can make way more carbonated water than going to a direct spring that already has carbonation. Because yes, you can find sparkling water directly from the source, but that's way more expensive, way lesser quantities. But seltzer made it easy to put carbonation into water, so you can have all the carbonated water you want to. And these guys had one of the first tanks of seltzer, and they had a direct line of the seltzer up to the bar, and that's how they were able to splash carbonated water onto a nice Campari, hence the Campari Spritz. Monica says you look Italian because you're wearing something blue. Really? Italians wear a lot of blue? This is a French work jacket. So this is definitely a French jacket, but I guess it blends in. Oh, I want a nice Negroni right now. Oh, this sounds good. Come here during the day because otherwise you'll be waiting a while for a seat. And this was the area, Campari, this bar Mota, was where the intelligentsia, the Italian intelligentsia, hung out in. The intellectuals, the political revolutionaries, the philosophers. Wow. Susie says, geez, I wish American malls looked like this. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I wish too. So I already ate dinner. I'll show you what I ate. It was a overnight flight, so I didn't get much sleep. And I came over here, napped, and decided to have an early dinner because tomorrow I gotta wake up very early for a day trip. Going somewhere very interesting, which hopefully there'll be some cell phone reception in, so stay tuned. But yeah, I already had dinner. I had meatballs, pasta carbonara, and tiramisu for dinner. Very big dinner, so I'm very stuffed. And then I had a little shot of espresso right before starting this live stream. I'll show you my dinner so people can see before we continue walking around. So I went to this place called Maccheroni. Very nice place. I don't know the neighborhood. I just walked there. But it's about a 20-minute walk away from here. A little bit longer, 30-minute walk away from here. And I had a 3-course meal starting with meatballs that were so amazing. Really juicy, tender, great tomato sauce, flavorful. Followed by the second course, which was a pasta carbonara, which is pasta with a sauce that is made from egg yolks, or egg in general, egg, pecorino cheese, and guanciale and black pepper. Guanciale is pork cheek, so it tastes like bacon. One of the classic Roman pastas. And yeah, I'm not in Rome, but I really was hankering for some pasta carbonara. This is my favorite. And then I ended with this. And for dessert, of course, a nice little tiramisu made in a cup, which I really love, very homemade, and some limoncello. Ooh, a classic digestif here in Italy, but definitely more from the southern regions. That was my dinner. I ate dinner way earlier than Italians would. So Italians eat dinner around 8 p.m. in Milan. 7 p.m. is where you have aperitivo, which is a drink and a nice little snacks. And then you'll have dinner a little bit later. Sometimes as late as 10 p.m. So I had it way earlier. So the restaurant was empty when I went.
Doesn't sound like he's sucked his drink.
My. SPQR, which is the Roman abbreviation of ancient Rome. Let me know what SPQR means. Quiz for everyone. But that is the founding of Rome. The 2 brothers who founded Rome. For some reason, they're licking some nipples. Hey, Susie, my cravings for Big Ziti is coming back. Big Ziti is, yeah, Big Ziti is more of an American thing, but if you want to have those baked pastas, this is the biggest pro tip you're gonna get for Italian food that I don't see any vlogger or food writer or guidebook really talking about it. It kind of shocks me. If you want to have great baked pastas, like lasagna, potentially a ziti or something very similar, and you want to have some substantial food for lunch without going to a restaurant, go to what are called fornos, Forno, fornos. And the forno, or I'm saying plural in English, but forno, there are the bakeries, but they're bakeries that sell food. And during lunchtime, only for about like an hour or two, I think around like 11 to 12, 11 to 1, you'll find lasagna and other baked pastas there. And it's really good food. So if you want something that feels a little bit more Italian-American, or what was the precursor to Italian-American cuisine, go to a forno. And most Italian cities have many fornos that you can find. Just search forno. Thank you, Maurice. Yeah, forno means oven. Yes, oven. So it's basically a bakery that serves savory foods. So there's a tradition here in the galleries of Milan. Oh, okay. So it is to twist your foot here. I think in a clockwise position. I'm not sure if the woman is doing it right. And I think the legend says that if you twist your foot, you'll come back here. You'll make your way back, or it's good luck. Let me know if anyone remembers it very well. But let's see. The hole is pretty big. That's crazy. I remember the hole being a lot smaller here. That's crazy. There we go. So if you saw my videos from 2022, it was a slight bump. This is a full-on hole that extends down to the ground below the tiling. That is crazy. I did not realize that the hole has gotten that big. Marcus says, sorry, no McDonald's or any American fast food. I hate to break it to you, there is a McDonald's here. There was a massive, gigantic controversy. So all the way down there no longer in the gallery is a McDonald's. But that McDonald's is located in one of the modern buildings right next to the galleries. But I'm not sure. I think I came here to Milan. I came here on my own in 2015. And I remember seeing the McDonald's here, if I recall correctly. But there was a massive controversy because McDonald's wanted to stay inside the galleries. And the Italian people were pissed because they were like, this is an American chain that's ruining the classiness of these galleries filled with high-end shops like Prada, Louis Vuitton, more Prada, and Dior, and Swarovski. So the Milanese government, or whoever owns these grounds, but I think the government was involved, did not allow McDonald's to renew their lease, which technically they couldn't do. So it was a big controversy, and McDonald's sued the city of Milan, if I recall correctly. I might be getting my details a little bit mixed up, but something along those lines happened. They sued the city of Milan in order to renew the lease. And apparently they lost that lawsuit, and that's why now they're outside of the galleries and not in here. Camila says, happy you're in Italy. Okay, thank you so much, Maurice. Maurice says the tradition of the spinning your heel on the bull's testicles, the Bull of Turin, because we have Rome, we have Turin, and we'll probably see two more cities, Napoli and Milan. You'll get good luck. Ah, that's good to know. Otney says, thank you so much for streaming over here. Otney, it's my deepest pleasure. I'm so happy I can show you the beauties of the world on live video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know, will you live here? Will you live right there? Fun fact, when I was in Brussels, they have a very similar looking gallery. It's a bit smaller, but it's as gorgeous. And I actually stayed in a hotel where my window faced the gallery. So I was able to peek over the window and see the galleries at night. It was so cool. Look, surprisingly, it was extremely quiet. It was very well insulated from sound. But let me know, would you stay in a hotel or live? I think some of these used to be apartments. I think now they're hotels or some type of temporary residence. But let me know, would you stay here? Oh, nay, as I'm clicking that like button. Hey, oh, nay, that is so awesome to hear, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ooh, here we got some gelato from Savini. Let's walk a little bit further down. I just want to be here forever. I just want to stay here. Let me book my Airbnb here because this sounds amazing. Kay says, I love to sleep in a place like this. Oh, yes. Inspire Life says, this is spectacular. So as I mentioned before, in many cities across Europe, there is no reason we can't build this today. Sure, we may not have as many craftsmen as we used to, and materials might be more expensive. But if we create an industry of building structures like these, once again, we will get back to a point where it becomes more economical to build beautiful structures. And we should, because they have a direct impact on our well-being, on inspiration, on productivity. I would say if you were to make some type of study, you could find a correlation between the productivity of a city and its beauty. Because if you notice, some of the ugliest cities in the world, I don't think tend to be as deeply productive as, say, a London, a Milan, a New York, a Paris, a Copenhagen. I think beauty has an impact on both the economy and our well-being. And that is very, very important. And I think we should appreciate more beautiful architecture in our lives, in our cities. Pistol says, please visit Corsica. Corsica, where many Puerto Ricans come from. Yeah, I've always been tempted to Corsica. I never really learned too much about Corsica. I rarely ever see it mentioned in tourist videos on YouTube, so I'm very curious about Corsica. Ooh, here's Bottega Veneta. And we got Tots. Ooh, we got Rizzoli, which is also in New York. So I haven't been to all these restaurants, but I would say your best bet will be the Campari one, because there you can actually drink the history of Negronis and Campari Spritz. Inspired Life says the floor is so shiny. Oh yes, they do a good job cleaning it. Susie says, is there upper level? Yeah, there's a few levels here, but the only main level that's open is this one, the ground level. So there's there's a mezzanine on all these stores, as we can see over here. 3, 4, as we see that balcony level, which is not open to the public, and then 5. And then there might be a 6, but I'm not 100% sure. But definitely 5 here. Monica says you need to fix your Italian consonants. What one know about language is I'm pronouncing a lot of these names in English because that's the language I'm speaking in. And hence why Campari, I say Campari rather than Campari or something like that. Because I'm pronouncing it in English, that's why. There's a drone here for some reason. Flying Squirrel says, eek, that balcony looks dangerous. It does. Is the roof made out of glass? The roof indeed is made out of glass. Oh, that guy's brave flying the drone here. Is he gonna try going to the galleries? Oh my god, this dude. Oh shit. Oh, this dude got balls. Here he can easily get arrested for doing this. Oh shit, he's actually... I doubt he has a license. Otherwise he wouldn't be so precautious and hiding behind the column here to film. Oh my god. Let me know, for anyone who flies drones, would you risk flying a drone in the middle of the gallery? He has gone the full length of the gallery at this point. That's crazy. He's gonna get some great footage. But at what costs? Inspire Life says it's probably not legal. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I doubt if you had a license for it, you probably can only come during the middle of the night when it's closed. Oh yeah, he's hiding. Oh shit. Oh, that's crazy. Wow. That is ballsy as F. That is, like, the guy could easily get arrested. Not just merely warned for flying in such a historical landmark like that, especially on top of people. Oof. Susie said I should have brought my drone. Sometimes it shocks me that people, how people get their drone footage, because drone rules have gotten more and more harsh in many parts of the world, including in Italy, and so it's harder and harder to fly a drone where you're not stepping on a law or regulations against drones. So here is the, if I recall correctly, this is the Opera House. Wow. It's currently being remodeled. I wish I can go inside. I wonder if there's a performance here happening soon. There might be a performance tonight. April says if he has a pilot's license and it's a small drone, he doesn't need a license in Italy. Yes, I would say for outdoors, but not on top of people in a historical landmark. I would say he's definitely taking a big risk, for sure. But Italian authorities, don't worry, I do not have evidence of the guy. I did not film the guy. Italian authorities, if you're listening, nothing was filmed. I don't know what drones are you talking about. I have no idea. I would say, Flying Squirrel says, hate to say it, I hope the guy has good intentions. Yeah, that was my first thought with the drone, because now drones are very effective weaponry in the war in Ukraine, and Ukrainian military is taking down these massive tanks and bases and entire squads of soldiers with drones, and they're doing it very efficiently to the point where Russia is spending way more money to attack back because they're doing the traditional way, using artillery. So drones are quite scary now, modern warfare, and that's why that was the first thing that popped into my head. It's like, oh, I would not want a drone flying through here, regardless of what the intentions are, because that is risky. You never know. You never know what could be attached to that drone.
Nel 1400.
Allora,
Almost says don't perjure yourself. This entire live stream is satire. Don't worry, full satire. Adam, nice to see you here, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome, Adam. All right, we're gonna walk around a little bit more. I'm gonna show you one of the main thoroughfares here in Milan. That leads towards the castle, so we'll catch that thoroughfare. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. Happy to answer any questions about traveling, about Italy. I've been to Italy a lot, so I know it quite well, at least from a tourism perspective. So feel free to ask me any questions, and then stay tuned. I'll be live regularly this entire month from different parts. You'll be seeing other cities you'll be seeing more places in Italy. You'll be seeing another country as well, which should not be named yet, but stay tuned. Nina says, are you buying postcards? Yes, I am buying postcards. I am buying postcards, and I will be sending them to mega urbanists who contribute $20 or more a month. So Milan does have a very good public transportation system. As a subway, a metro, they have a tram, light rail, and I think there should be a bus network as well. And then there's a bike share, and then there's a lot of rentable bikes here as well, and rentable scooters. So plenty of public transportation available here. And then you can also use Uber. Uber is expensive here though, definitely more expensive than other European cities. And you can use Free Now, which is a bit cheaper, but Free Now is also a bit expensive compared to other cities, but not as expensive as New York. So here's the bike share program. Kay says, is this a sponsored trip? Italy isn't. I'm coming here on my own volition. The other country that is going to be featured is sponsored. Not on live video, but on short videos. So stay tuned for that. Marie says you could try using Bolt. Ooh, okay. All right, thank you so much for the recommendation. I barely use Bolt. Doesn't always come to mind because in the US I never use it. It's not available in the US. But now I know Bolt. All right. Here's what used to be one of the very centuries old markets in Milan. Piazza dei Mercanti, the plaza of the merchants. It smells like feces, but at least it smells like nice Italian feces. And here, look, we have Bialetti, the famous mocha company, where they make the mocha pots. That's the Milanese drink called at home. Is usually this method called mocha, or in Puerto Rico we call it greca, which is a bit weird. I'm not sure why rather than mocha we call it greca. But this is basically like a way to make espresso at home. Nina says, I tried to send stars here on Facebook. Oh, Nina, yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with Facebook. Facebook is always very confusing. And, you know, I don't know. Sometimes people are able to send stars, sometimes not. It's always a bit tricky. What time is it in Milan? Oh, I forgot. I lost all track of time in life. I don't even know what year it is. What year is it? Marcus says it's 2054. Okay, cool. Thank you. It's 1054. Wow. 854. Nina says it's time to get married. Oh, yeah. I will look into stars. Thank you everyone for letting me know about Facebook stars. So for people who don't know, I multi-stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. Milano per la resistenza. Milano of the resistance. Adam, I don't announce my travel plans, but yes, you'll see more of Italy in general. Maurice, did you travel from Milapensa to the city by train? Yes. So I arrived, thank you so much. Maurice, thank you so much for the €5 super chat. That's so kind of you. That covers now. Espresso has gone up here. Espresso now is $1.50. It used to be €1 back when it came in 2022, or like €1.10. Now it's $1.50, or at least here in Milan Central. So that covers at least 3 espressos. Thank you so much. So, how did I get here to Milan Central? So I ended up arriving to the Milan airport, and I took the train from Terminal 2 Express over here to the center of Milan, the central train station. So the express train, I think I spent €13, €15 or so, and it was about a 50-minute ride with like 4 stops. So it was okay, pretty quick, way more efficient than New York system, because it's a direct train from the airport all the way to the center of the city. One ride, one fare, and comfortable seating, and it passed fairly frequently. So I do recommend it. If you arrive to Milan, don't bother taking a taxi. You don't need to. You can travel by train to the center of the city. Then you could grab a taxi to anywhere else in the city if you want to save some money. That would be my recommendation. Sunshine with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Sunshine. How's the Italian train system? It's the best in the world. The Italian train system is some of the best in the world. They have a little bit of issues with their ticketing system. It's still a bit tedious to buy a ticket because you have to buy for a specific time. It's not as open as some other countries where you can just buy a general ticket to, say, Turin and then use it any time of the day. So you do have to be aware that you have to buy specific tickets, but it's very, very easy train system. Very efficient, high-speed rail connects all the major cities together. So you can, from here, you can get to Turin, you can get to Lake Como, Lake Garda, you can get to Verona, you can get to Venice, you can get to Florence, you can get to Rome. All direct trains from Milan. It's that awesome. Susie says, Urbanist is not yet in the Facebook Gaming Level Up program. Ah, yeah. That's a shame. Nice little square over here. Ooh, okay, so here there's a few cool things. We got some of the bigger chain stores here, like Uniqlo. We got the massive Starbucks roastery. Hey Donald, nice to see you here. I'm surprised they allow these giant billboards on the old buildings. Yeah, not as much. It's definitely more regulated than New York or even London. Well, yeah, there's some billboards on some of these buildings. So, in this historic post office building is now Books Reserve Roastery. Massive, massive Starbucks, basically. Massive, fancy Starbucks right here. Here are the tram systems, the light rail. And then right down here, we have the castle. Right here, we got the castle. Sforza Castle, which one can visit. I visited all the way back when I visited here in 2012 or so. And I need to come back. Camilla is asking, are you going to Florence tomorrow? I don't announce travel plans. Camilla, you have to stay tuned. You have to find out where I post. Beautiful day today. Truly. Hey, Swisser, wow. Swisser with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Swisser. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the contributions that people are leaving. Thank you so much. It helps for funding these trips, coming here and showing you a bunch of cool things, live videos, short videos, and vlogs. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. I gotta come back to the store. This is cool. Usado. I want that jacket, that corduroy jacket. If only Italy they sold more of my size. In Italy they sell tiny sizes here for tiny men. I would buy that one. Ooh, that one's cool. I like that one. Hey, Ende, nice to see you here. Lorraine says, I think the castle has the Last Supper meeting. Oh, yes. There was very loud techno music. We got a Lego store in case you need it. Kat says her dress was giving. Yeah, people, as I mentioned, people here dress well now. More loud music. Nina says, no homeless, no garbage. Yeah. Nina, I'm glad you mentioned that. So, New York City. I've been very sad in New York the past 2 weeks or so. Many things in life are going awesome, but in New York, unfortunately, we've taken out a lot of outdoor dining. And it's so saddening to see that New York, that was once great with outdoor dining in the past 4 years since 2020, now has eliminated nearly all of it in Manhattan and Queens and Brooklyn. Bronx and Staten Island didn't have too much of it, but in those 3 boroughs. And now you're forced to go back into the tiny, cramped restaurants that dot all over the city. And one of the main reasons we tore it down, according to the public, aka what politicians said, was that there was infestation of rats. It's the rats. Eating outdoors is dirty. It's unsanitary. It attracts pests. Looks pretty clean to me. I don't see any roaches or rats here. It's not the outdoor dining that's the issue. The issue with New York is the trash. There's little trash bags on the street. That's what's the issue in New York. It's not the outdoor dining. The outdoor dining is not causing a massive rat problem. It's the trash. So it's so sad that New York is so misguided in its decision to basically outlaw outdoor dining once again. No pollution either, says Kat. Yeah, because this is a pedestrianized street, so it's more pleasant to eat outside as well. That's the other factor, for sure. All right, our final stop right in front of the castle. Let me know if anyone has any questions. Flying Squirrel says, trash bags on the streets equals buffet dinner for rats and raccoons. Yes, that is the case, and roaches as well. Ooh, here they're selling Piombo. Piombo is a great shirt brand for men. Marcus says, do they eat dogs and cats in the US? I assume there are some very rare circumstances where that has happened, for sure. I mean, it's not the norm. He says homeless were also sleeping in outdoor dining areas. Yes, that was another issue. But the point is, outdoor dining in of itself is not the issue. It's the other problems that we have not tackled in New York City that causes us to be to see outdoor dining as a negative. Oh, this is a beautiful restaurant. So, pro tip in Italy, a lot of these restaurants have bars. The bars won't have stools, but the bars you can order a quick drink or a quick coffee. In many of them, the bigger the restaurant, the more likely you'll see a bar in it where you can order a quick coffee. And coffee in Italy is almost ubiquitously good everywhere. From the tobacco shops to the big cafes to the massive restaurants to the gelaterias to the bakeries to the trattorias where you have a nice espresso after your meal. Everything. You'll find great coffee almost everywhere. It is just ubiquitous. So don't worry about trying to find the coffee spots here in Italy because they're generally everywhere, anywhere. Gas stations, anywhere. Here's the trams. Ende says I should go to a football match. It's very interesting, yeah, I have no doubt. Okay, says did they roll out the rubbish bins in New York? Yes, they did. But now the other issue is that our cities are covered in bins. Luckily now they're covered, so it eliminates a lot of the issues with pests, at least to some extent. But now we have another issue where the garbage is still out in the street. It's just now they're covered in bins, and it's a lot of tiny bins rather than bigger communal bins. And the reason that is the case in New York, where we decided not to implement massive bins like they do here in Italy, like they do in Amsterdam, like they do in France, and many other countries in Europe, is because they took over parking space. And the voters did not want their parking spaces to be taken away. So the politicians abided and decided, okay, we're not going to put bigger bins, which is a bit more aesthetic, because you'll see 1 or 2 bins for every block or 2, rather than now a bunch of tiny bins everywhere, just because we want our precious parking in New York. Oh, I don't have a time schedule for the video. Just throughout the day, put on your notifications. Unfortunately, no set plans around daytime. That's basically what I can tell you. Do people in Milan speak English well? Yeah, the Milanese have a pretty high proficiency for English, from what I've noticed. More so than other Italian cities. And it's because Milan is very, very diverse. It has always been an industrial and business hub already for a long time. So English is at least understood here by many Italians. If not, they also speak it as well. So I haven't had issues speaking English. And I haven't had issues where people would expect me to speak Italian. Unlike maybe other parts of Italy, where there's a higher expectation of knowing Italian. Ooh, I feel a nice cool breeze because of this fountain. Wow, such a mighty castle. Can you pay with debit card on the trams, Maurice? I don't know yet, Maurice. That is a question I am actually curious myself. The moment I know, I will let you guys know. If anyone knows if you can tap now on trams, do let us know right now in the comments, because I haven't experienced it yet. If that's the case, that's awesome, because it'll make taking the tram way easier. Anthony says, even the espresso shot at the airport was amazing. Yep, you'll find great espresso even at the airports. Wow. Hey, Walter Moon says, I love that you're walking through Milan. I really enjoy your videos of Athens. Oh, Athens. You know, I was very tempted to actually go again. I just love Athens so much. Yes, I'm glad I'm in Milan. Wow. Castella Sforza. Castello Sforza, says Camila. Ooh, thank you. Castella Forseco. Sforza Castle. Wow. Just stunning. Just stunning. So you can visit this castle during the day. Highly recommend it. It's a beautiful, beautiful site. And we walked from near El Duomo, from the fashion area, all the way here to Sforza Castle. It took an hour and a half on live streaming because I went slow and took a detour, but you can do this walk in 40 minutes or so. And it is wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Susie says, can you do a politics philosophical chat soon? Maybe one day on my private channels. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. This is Italy here in Milan. You'll see more Italy soon. I'll be live streaming from other parts as well, and you'll be learning about another country as well and the cool aspect of this other country. Stay tuned. I'm super excited. That's the part where I'm working with a cool company. Again, this will be the second time I work with this company. And then and I'm super excited to show you just more cool stuff. So stay tuned, put on your notifications. On YouTube is the easiest place to put on your notifications, Urbanist Exploring Cities. And then if you need a guide for New York, because a lot of people travel to New York during the winter time, you can download my guide. In the description, you'll find my guide to New York City as well. And then watch my coffee documentary. I made a coffee documentary about how coffee in New York changed the world. And hopefully, if that documentary does well on YouTube, hopefully that can pave the way to other cool documentaries about coffee. I at least want to make coffee documentaries about coffee culture in Europe, and maybe one day even Arabia/Africa at some point. It would be so awesome. So check out the documentary after this. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome, and always keep on exploring. Stay curious, mi amici. Ciao, arrivederci, amici.